Welcome, I'm Anna Kirschberg, founder and CEO of Beanstalk Books. At Beanstalk Books, we specialise in decodable readers, and I'm proud to be the author and publisher of one of the world's largest library of decodables. After over a decade of developing phonics-based resources and books, I've created a trusted brand of decodable books that deliver transformative reading experiences worldwide. At Beanstalk Books, all our readers are truly decodable, developed around a rigorous and structured phonics sequence for both young children and older struggling readers. Our decodable readers are underpinned by the principles of the science of reading. At Beanstalk Books, with our texts, we strive to support teachers as they move towards evidence-based reading instruction. So why are decodable texts so important? Current research is showing that many, if not most children, will benefit from using a systematic phonics-based approach when learning to read. As children learn using a phonics-based or structured literacy approach, we know that decodable books become a key component of this learning process. A decodable reading book is a book that only contains the letters and sounds that a child has already learned. Reading non-decodable or partially decodable books can be demotivating and frustrating for children learning to read. When children read a fully decodable book, they can use their decoding skills to read words. Being able to decode all the words in a book builds their fluency and reading confidence. As one of the pioneers in creating and publishing decodable text, Beanstalk Books decodables were a world first. Each and every one has been developed specifically to work in accordance with a daily and weekly progression. Underpinned by our letters and sounds scope and sequence, our books follow a week-by-week program with 6 phases, providing children text-based context to practice their emerging reading skills. The Letters and Sounds program builds a foundation in recognizing, pronouncing, and reading vowels, consonants, and word families through a systematic synthetic phonics progression. Beanstalk Books has the largest number of decodable readers in the United States, with over 600 titles. Included in the various ranges are fiction, non-fiction, high-low, and science. High-low decodables are written with a high interest level for older children, but follow the same synthetic phonics progression, which is represented in the front of each book. All our books are color-coded in accordance with their phase level. So here we have a phase 2 book, which is color-coded by the orange color on the front and on the back. Every story in both our fiction and non-fiction range of books has been written with a strictly controlled text. Children are only exposed to words and text that is decodable or can be sounded out based on the letter-to-sound correspondences they've already learned. Common exception words, also known as tricking words, have been incorporated into the progression where deemed appropriate. These words are also known as heart words. Each common exception word is listed on the inside inner cover of the book that they are featured in. I am often asked, what makes a good decodable book great, and why are Beanstalk Books decodables good examples of high-quality decodable texts? Yes, decodable readers are different to non-decodable books. Children will not need to rely on using the context of the story to try to read a word. They will acquire the tools to sound out each part of the words in front of them. All of our decodable books carry a great story. Both fiction and non-fiction titles enable building comprehension skills, picture-to-text match, and enable pre-reading discussion and prediction. Our books are fun, vibrant, and diverse, and even better, these stories make sense to kids. I think some of the key features that teachers should look for in a decodable relate to the following. Are the books fully decodable? Beanstalk Books readers are fully decodable, and this means that every word in the book can be read using just the child's developing phonics knowledge. Some decodables have a bunch of unrelated sentences with somewhat stilted language. Some decodables introduce and mix high-frequency words, sight words, and too many common exception words too early on in the reading journey. Storyline is always important. One thing I know about decodable books and fiction decodable books is they need to tell a great story. We know that it tells a story because you can ask questions and discuss the story with the child. Our fiction readers have meaningful plots with age-relatable and interesting characters, and our non-fiction series always contain colourful and modern photography with accurate information and topics that relate to both ages and curriculum. In fiction books, illustrations are also important. Children need and deserve books with quality illustrations. We work with skilled children's illustrators who use vibrant colours, modern styles, and develop diverse and inclusive characters that are appealing to the age group that you're working with. Also, all our illustrations and pictures support the story without giving away the words. The pictures carry the story. You can have just one word with a great illustration to help with understanding what's happening in the book. There are examples of decodables in the market where the stories might be nonsensical and silly with poor or very basic illustrations, and they may have awkward or strange language structures that makes the books more challenging and less appealing for early readers. Complexity is important. Our books have a clear progression following our scope and sequence between our phase levels, moving from very simple to more complex text. The books have appropriate complexity for the students you're working with, and also important is the number of common exception words that feature. These increase as you move up the phase levels. The volume and depth of our library of decodables provide opportunities to practice new skills and review old ones. The text will provide common exception words that are being taught at each phase level, and each book within each phase sequence will move to harder and more challenging texts. Many teachers have asked me at what level of reading ability or skill should I stop using decodable texts in the classroom. Decodable texts, when applied appropriately, can help students to continue on to develop their fluency, and fluent reading is the result of automatic word reading. Our books in Phase 5 through to 5.5 and Phase 6 can help with this transition. At these levels, language comprehension and ability to decode is strengthened here. These phase levels can be used as scaffolding to reach fluency. At each phase level, we can reinforce new phonics patterns with decodable text. Once students have developed their decoding skills at this level, they can move on to the next phase, and then we can transition over to non-controlled text, where we shift to our Phase 6 fluency sets. We scaffold between each of the phases. Some students will need the scaffold of decodable text longer than others, and require repeated exposure until they are ready for the next phonics element. Once children have developed decoding skills, their brains become self-teaching. Children can learn new words, access these through decoding, and commit these words to memory. Demand from teachers and schools has been high for our readers, and our decodable range of books continues to expand. Beanstalk Books decodable readers build reading confidence and reading success for all children learning to read. Beanstalk Books was founded because of our firm belief in the science of reading. All children deserve to learn to read in the best ways possible, and everything we do at Beanstalk Books supports the global movement towards reading instruction that is based on science and best practice.